What's up, y'all? Welcome to a brand new episode of the Undrunken Podcast. I'm your host, Courtney, and I'm stoked you're here. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. New episodes drop once a month on the 7th, and randomly when the mood strikes me. Here on Undrunken, we celebrate the lives and stories of those living life without alcohol. So if that sounds interesting to you, you're in the right place. Today's episode features April Katz, a beautiful queen of a woman who has a deep passion for creating adaptive and inclusive recreation for people with disabilities, all through her nonprofit, the AIROW Project. In our episode, she shares her journey of quitting alcohol and how it's positively impacted her life, her work, relationships, and personal growth. She describes how her life used to revolve around drinking, often consuming multiple beers through the day and into the night. However, after a particularly scary incident involving a near-drowning experience and drinking and driving incident, she decided to change her ways. April radiates gratitude for the changes in her life and shares that she plans to remain sober forever, even though some people have questioned how long it will last. She encourages others to reach out to her for outdoor adventures and fun without the drinking. Let's drop into this awesome conversation now. Let's just dive in.
Yeah, sounds good.
So, April, you have been really public about your journey, and I know I've shared this with you personally, but you just have such a bright light in your personality and in your posts, and I eat it up, and I just am so excited to share it. So, April, please introduce yourself, and let's talk.
Yeah. Um, Hi everyone. My name is April Katz, and I am a mom, and I'm an executive director and founder of a local nonprofit called the AIROW Project. That's my passion. It's to create adaptive and inclusive recreation for those with disabilities. Um, Outside of those two, I'm also a avid biker, surfer, love snowboarding. That's been my new sport. I'm
All
kind of
around
getting
badass.
and getting the hang of things. I absolutely love the outdoors. Outdoor is not only my place to go, but it's my place of freedom. And when I say freedom, it's healing. I am one with ADHD and dyslexia and dysgraphia. For those that don't know, that's with numbers. So my brain is chaos. But when I'm outside, it's so peaceful. It's like my brain just turns off. Um, yeah, that's just my happy moment, and I think that's why I shine a lot. It's because, a lot of my pictures are outside and, bringing that joy, especially, I'm a person of color, and to show others, that are Black, brown, that this is joy, and we can, make space and own this area. And so, yeah, that's just in the last, I would say 10 years, I've been something definitely unlocked when I was in Alaska. I was living there from 2012, let's see here, 2010 to 2016, 17. And then we moved back to San Diego, where I'm born and raised. And we were there literally 6 months. And I decided, oh man, this is chaos. Southern California, it's beautiful, but it's expensive. And so I decided to move. And I've known about Bellingham, so I had to put my application for behavior therapy for ABA. And that's how I got my first job here in Bellingham. I was working at Pacific Northwest Autism, and I did that for 2 years, and then I was like, "I'm gonna start my own business."
So
And
you
in
started your own business when?
2019 is
Right before the pandemic. Oh my gosh. Okay.
and it's called at the time, it was called autism life coaches, and I was still struggling. Like, autism is just one little area of a population,
Yeah.
and there's disabilities everywhere. And I was just like, okay, adaptive life coaches. So I did a do business as, and adaptive life coaches launched, and it went really successful. It's actually COVID hit, and I got boomed really fast because parents needed caregivers. It was a respite service for those with disabilities. So my phone was off the hook. Like, that's how I grew. Hey, can you sit and do the online schooling for my kid with so and so disability, or can I do this? And I did it and it helped because my daughter at the same time was had the same schedule, the same, so I got to not worry about caregiving and her side of she just joined me at these people's houses. And it was win-win. I got to work, get paid, parents got to go to work, and my daughter was taken care of.
Yeah. That's awesome. And
And
I that you said is adaptive coaching.
yeah,
Okay.
so life coaching. And that's kind of where it arrow sparked. I realized that it wasn't just the caregiving part in their homes. It was they went individuals with disabilities go from therapy, hospital, school to like you name it, and it's all indoors. And living in Pacific Northwest, you need to be outside and you need to like get fresh air. And so I saw these kids go to school from 9 to 2:30 and then have therapy at 3:30. They would meet me for ABA, and they were miserable. They looked sad. They did not want to come in. And so this is where I was like, why aren't we outside? Why aren't we going to the park? Behaviors, working with behaviors can be outside. And so that's how I started. And I got to spend with 5 boys with autism just to get them on a bike. And we went to the pump track, and I was like, I am on to something. And
Yeah.
and then it just 2021, 2022 um is when we did our first like kayaking, adaptive and inclusive kayaking event in June. It was free. We didn't even have like a nonprofit status. Um, and I was just like, we're on to something, we're doing it. And we hosted the event, 70 people showed up. And that's where I was like, arrows in a start. And so we applied. It just took 3 months. I was really shocked. And we became a 513C. And I threw every client that I knew of from ALC to AIROW. And so I'm, uh, as of 2024, January of 2024, I became a paid staff, and we grew a lot. And it was incredible to see the community show up. We did like 200 participants were impacted between our adaptive inclusive summer camp to adaptive cycling demo event. We just did our adaptive inclusive ski event on Mount Baker. So we're just checking things off of every outdoor recreation possibilities. Skateboard's gonna get there. We're gonna do it. Pickleball's already happened. So that is where I keep waking up every morning and going, I am doing exactly what my life purpose is. And we call each other coaches also, is because we're mentors.
Yeah.
And it's been pretty cool.
That's actually how we met, was at one of those events, right?
Yes.
it was the Evergreen Mountain Bike Festival.
Yeah, I was there for it's called barrier breaking rides. So I give those that are BIPOC and adaptive riders, and I'm like, here's a day we just need to go and have fun and play um and when we say adaptive riders for mountain biking, they tend to like ride with their significant other and or caregiver and an instructor as an adaptive level 1, and that drove me crazy. I'm like, these are adults that should be riding with other people. um, and so that's kind of where the barrier breaking ride, any barriers, you name it, from if you don't have a bike, transition. I am transition bikes. I'm their ambassador. So I get to have demo bikes for those that don't have bikes. Um, those that are like, oh, I've never been on a bike, I'll teach you the very basic beginning 10 fundamentals. And then all those rides, yes. So Evergreen heard about my barrier breaking rides, and they were like, we need this. And at that event, we uh, took what, 2 vans? Yeah, that was pretty cool. And then War Paint is a local, not local, but they're in Portland, nonprofit that we kind of joined together. And that was pretty cool.
I I really, really remember like enjoying the whole group so much. There was just so much just pure joy and like
Mhm,
in a like this humble, grateful joy that like I don't know if that even like encompasses it, but
mhm.
just it was awesome. Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
and they were like, one of the participants got so excited that they forgot when we got all the way to the top that she was wearing sandals. And she's like, "I totally forgot my riding shoes. I just hopped in the van and thought I was ready to go, but I'm not." So, and I think it was probably you that was like, "Hop in the van, let's go, and we can meet up with them on the next section." So we made it happen. Yeah.
so interesting. You're probably the sixth or seventh person in the mountain bike community to join me on the podcast.
Huh.
And it's a community that, when I started mountain biking, drinking was a pretty prevalent part of the activity.
Yes.
Whether it was cracking a beer, waiting at the trailhead for folks, cracking
Mhm.
one halfway or at the top. I mean, it's just always around. And now, like, nobody I ride with really drinks.
Yeah, we really, yeah, absolutely. 5 years ago when I first started here, mountain biking, that was it. That was like putting your beer in your hip pack. I was, or making sure that we rode somewhere to go to the happy hour. The list goes on, and I think now it's like we're rather than spending our time at that happy hour, or people that ride with me know that I'm gonna like ride for a very long time to pretty much exhaust ourselves. And I'm just so tired that I'm ready to head home, and it's wild to me just to think how much time I've wasted to be to rush to like the happy hour area and to sit at a bar and waste money. And yeah, that was a lot of part of my life, and a lot of people have met me there. I'm very known in the community, but I am still known. It's like they're like, you are still showing up at a brewery if, even though you don't drink. And I'm like, yeah, every brewery nowadays has a non-alcoholic drink or a mocktail, which is fantastic. And Red Bull for those evening club nights. I am 40, so I get tired. So Red Bull has been, um, my favorite drink these days, but when I go out in the evening to keep, yeah. So
Um, so how long have you been undrunken?
yeah, so I am gonna open up my app because another thing that has helped me is this app called Quit Drinking, and just to see these beautiful days. I don't know if I can get it. No, but 155 days in 21 hours and 20 seconds. So
Wow, down to the seconds.
yeah.
So that was, you got the app, you push the button and it starts
Yeah,
going.
it starts, and then what I really do love is like money saved, which I wish this was the number that's really that I saved, but and then it talks about like why I quit, and so that's kind of where the most more clarity around like my beliefs and abilities, and just like, and there's a buddy system. Um, so one of my good friends lives in Alaska, Fairbanks, Alaska, and she's the one that's like has already quit drinking way ahead of me. I think she was like already a year into it, and when I told her I really needed to stop, she told me about this, and just the messages that I get from her, or like, because you can see each other's days. And so when I think I was like in my second week, I was, struggling. The whole first month was extremely hard, and I'll share that soon. But I think that's where it changed is those texts, those people that knew in the community, like, I need to start texting April, see how she's doing, um, my friends that are really close to me, rather than going to like a happy hour that they've or a brewery, they're like, "Hey, do you want to go for a walk?" Like, and so um it it was really nice. And I think that's where it really took 2 months of not, and then it just something in my brain just clicked, and it was, like, clear. It was just, like, I became happy, joyful. It was just the stress level, that's something that's extremely changed a lot. Yeah,
Mhm.
so
So let's just pull it 150 days ago, right?
Yep.
Wow.
So, let's see here. I'm getting it 155 days ago.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So 155 days ago, I will never forget this day. I think it was 156 days because I took a day of like what I really needed to do. Um, was just a day that I'll never forget. It's a day that I could have lost everything. So I went ahead and typical day, woke up, got Chloe ready, and went to work. But what was different is my truck needed an oil change and a tune up and got my tires all rotated. And where the car dealership is, across the street is my favorite brewery. And so I was like, oh, dude, I can totally work and get a nice pint. And so I got there and I started working like 2 hours into it. So I was already like 3 pints into that afternoon, working, plugging around. And then I knew, oh, I have to get in my car and go to another meeting. Um, and it was over Zoom. So I was like, well, I can grab a crowler and no one knows that I'm drinking while I'm having a Zoom meeting. And so I brought that to the office. And so now I'm like 5, 6 beers deep, and I'm now have like this buzz. And I got my work day done. And then that evening, my friend texted me and said, "Hey, I'm down the street. Do you want to go to this happy hour?" It's like, it's happening. And so I went and walked over there. And then now it's like drinking all day and then margaritas. Um, and so this is where it got really like scary, is that I should have, um, you know, said, "Hey, I need like an Uber or something." And so instead I hopped in my car and I was like, started driving. And that's where I was like, oh, I can't drive. Like, and so I decided to go towards the marine park and kind of like hang out near the ocean, one of my favorite places, my healing. And I decided to go and take a dip in the ocean and go skinny dipping, and by myself. Like, I have my friend that I text and said, "This is where I'm at. Like, do you want to come and go skinny dipping?" So she shows up and we both go, and legit, I hit that water, and I think it was just because I was drunk. But I almost drowned. It's like I couldn't breathe. My like heart rate, I pretty much sure that it's because of the cold water, this and that. Um, and so I got up, and pretty much I just had this like vision of like darkness, like of dark days. And so I rushed. And I also remembered that my daughter, her dad is dropping off because it's the parent plan, that I had like 30 minutes to get home. And so I hop in my car. I'm still buzzed, stressing out. I'm like praying that I don't get pulled over, that I shouldn't be driving. And so I get home, and I think my daughter said the words that I needed to hear to stop drinking. And that was, "Are you okay?" And so that's where I just kind of like hold back my tears. I didn't want to show her that I was struggling. And so I went, hopped in the shower, and then that's when I just knew. I was just like, dude, I've been an alcoholic for so long, like a hidden alcoholic. That's another thing, is like, my heavy drinking didn't come after the divorce. So, and a lot of people don't know this. Um, and so that night, it's like I just said, I can't live like this. Um there's been so much that Chloe's seen of me passed out, and no dinner. It's like she's survived in the last 4 years. It's like, but you know, I was functioning. It wasn't that, like, not every night, but there were some scary nights, and that was a scary night that I just was just like, is it worth it? Is it worth losing my beautiful Tacoma truck? It's like very dear to my heart. I worked really hard for that. So the truck, my life, the nonprofit, everything like I worked up for, it's like that night, I was just like, you were willing to lose it just for like drinks. And so I woke up the next day, and I was just like, I have to start. And then my friends, two mentors, intervened at the right time. They knew something was up that day. Um, and for them to call me and meet me and confront me was like another thing that I was just, like, shocked when they, met up with me and told me about their concerns about my drinking, and then that's when I broke down and I just knew, "Wow, okay." I had my own perspective and dealt with what I just dealt with, but now I have 2 of my closest mentors telling me and calling me out. It's like, "Okay, now I need to do a life change." So, I did it. It's, the coolest aspect of everything that I can take away from this is, um, I haven't thrown up in 155 days, and when I say I haven't vomited or thrown up, that was my life. I spent many doctor visits, and would be like, "Hey, I would eat pizza and, like, throw it up." But it's because I was eating pizza and having a beer and I haven't been tested yet, but I'm very curious if I'm allergic to alcohol,
Mm.
um, because literally I haven't thrown up in the past, when I say 3 years ago, my life was to wake up every morning and vomit. I was hung over, vomit, and just rally my day. And then, like, somehow I was, like, functionable. I got my stuff done and work done, and then went back to that stupid cycle of 4:30 hit, and then it was just like, time to drink. And then I would drink, and then next morning feel crappy and very sluggish, throw up, and yeah, I even gone to like so many doctors, but never thought about, wow, are you allergic to it? Um, so 155 days of no vomiting, it's just incredible.
Wow. Wow. That's the synchronicity in your daughter saying that to you, and then
Mhm.
two people who are so important to you, as you said, calling you out, right? And it sounds like that must have been done with an immense amount of love.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that's it's like the chosen family.
Mhm.
And,
Yeah.
I have a lot of chosen families and that are very dear to me, and they show up and they can be there for me when I need it. And so I'm very, very thankful for my soul sisters. Yeah. So,
Mhm. Sounds like they saved your life.
yeah, yeah. I think they saved it, and then, I just needed to hear it from Chloe too, because she's my everything. And I think that's where it just I had to change it because I really do want to be there when she graduates from high school and the list goes on, playing professional hockey. And so, yeah.
Want to be the best mama you can. I love
Yeah.
that. That's so beautiful.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
Yeah. You said the first couple months were hard.
Yeah,
What were
definitely.
yeah, yeah, what were talk to me about those challenges for you.
Oh man, I quit. I don't remember the date, but I think it was like August 22nd. Um, Chloe's birthday is August 29th, and she had, big, huge hockey theme ice rink. Um, and it was wild. Those like birthday party ceremonies, it's like I wanted to drink so bad. Um, and then not only that, after that, I went to Rome. Rome is in Fruta, Colorado, and I knew it. I was just like, I don't know if you know what Rome is.
Oh
It's
yeah. I've been to Sedona.
Rome is a 3-day, for those that are listening, a 3-day Fenneman, like, bike festival, out in Fruita, Colorado, and it is a big, huge party in the desert, sponsored by Sierra Nevada, so there's no lack of alcohol there, and so I knew I was actually in the airport, um, with a group of folks from Transition Bikes that knew that I quit, and what they did at the airport was just beautiful. They're like, we don't need to go sit at a bar. We don't need to go and, hang out here. Where do you want to have lunch? That's not a bar or, a bar and grill. And I think that was, again, as someone that absolutely loves me, that's on that team, that she just made a difference on my travel. And
Yeah.
then when we were in the house, it's like for them to, because they already purchased all the beer and wine and food from Costco, and just to show up and there was a non-alcoholic beer, which is like, oh, thanks. And so the list goes on. I was super successful because of that. I think the team really rallied behind me. And then I went to Grit Fest, and Grit Fest is in Bentonville, Arkansas. Um, and so being there is another group of awesome folks that are part of the bike community that know about my journey, knew about where what I'm doing, and not once did I ask, "Hey, do you want this beer or do you want wine? Do you want, the shot at they everyone was taking shots or doing something, but they weren't asking me. Um and that was beautiful. I thought, like, the bike community is so rad. And gosh, I think that's where I'm at today is because of family, friends, mentors, chosen family. People really love me, and and I couldn't be any happier. It's just amazing. So,
You do radiate happiness, and I think about all the feelings that go with this because that was the big thing for me. Once the alcohol was gone, like the feelings they were always there, but they're just big, right?
mhm,
Um, what are some more feelings that you have? I've heard of gratitude, of
mhm.
happiness.
And then the biggest thing I think for my ADHD brain and my, dyslexia and all that, it's crazy how calm my brain feels these days and how organized I am. I am, sitting down and getting more work done than, man, I would be bouncing off the wall like here, there, this. Um, and just the coffee intake has also been less because, I'm not having those 3:30, like, crashes where I thought, now it's 3:30, go outside and walk, and that's another difference in my journey is playing outside for 365 days, um, and just 30 minutes to an hour being outside every day. Um,
Rain or shine?
it just energized. It gives me exactly what I need, and then I go back to work and, um, yeah, or go and drive Chloe somewhere. Um, but it's like the 3 things that I started working on is myself, and then working out on my strength, and then getting outside, and I think all 3 just synced all at the right time. I've daily, I'm not exhausted. It's, you know, crazy, and I do have my temptations. It's never easy,
What
but
tempts you?
huh?
What tempts you, or what feelings cause those temptations?
I think it's more of like, like, for example, I just got back from Whistler, um, and to be exhausted from the mountain and having it all day, and all you wanna do is just drink, and then when I was in the village of Whistler and to see all that to happen, it was like, um yeah, for a second, it was my first time where I was just like, "I can totally go into the bar," but then I couldn't, like, I was just like, "You know what, Chloe? Let's go to the coffee shop." And so we got our, chai tea, and now it's our favorite coffee shop in Whistler, and so, yeah, it was just like, um, again, with Chloe, it's like, I was just like, or she spent so much time at breweries and bars for happy hour, when she was younger.
Mhm.
And so now it's like instead of going to the bar and doing all this, I got to play hockey with her. I got to go ice skating. Um, and these are, she's recognizing it. It's like I'm having more time with her. And that's been pretty rad. I've
Does she
loved it.
understand it? Does she know what the change is?
Oh yeah, we
Yeah.
talk about it. I'm very open. Um,
Yeah.
and so she sees it. It's like, and I apologize to her,
Mm.
because, it was for a kid to hang out for an hour and a half at a brewery while your mom gets drinks, and it was everywhere I went. Seattle to, her hockey tournaments. We would show up to her hockey tournaments in Canada just an hour early so I can go check out a brewery. I was Googling, I was obsessed. I wanted to try all these different beers, um, and that was one of my eras. And then now I just laugh and I'm like, what a waste of time. And now here I am, Googling play parks and playgrounds and, trails. Yeah, it's been, pretty cool. And so,
I want to talk about the resources that helped you. You mentioned the app, which I think is amazing. And the other thing that you mentioned that I think people really discount is your community, right? Like
mhm,
you've had some connections and you've you've allowed that, which I hope you're proud of yourself for that because that- that's beautiful.
mm.
Um, what are some other resources that helped you or are helping you?
Music, music.
Beautiful.
Um, Eminem is one of my favorite. I love that guy. He can definitely rap, but just to know his journey and know his like him being sober and just reading about his life. And so um his songs were definitely on repeat. When the first 2 months of it was like Eminem, Jelly, like Jelly Roll, like he wrote Save Me. Um, I don't know if you've heard of that song before, but yeah, music is constantly in my head. Like I'm always jamming out.
Yeah.
And so I think that, and then I think podcasts and reading a lot
What
of
are some podcasts or books that you could share?
well, Mel
Besides the
Robbins.
Undrunken podcast, because I mean, I know that's awesome.
Mel Robbins is one of my favorite, and she just, I love her podcast. And so, um, I love listening to that one. And then there was like another, uh, yeah, spontaneous podcast, as you can see, but, I'm trying to get um, tearing it up with Taryn is, just listening to people's stories to get my mind off of. We have All Bodies on Bikes. their podcasts and just hearing about the rad bike community, and how everyone that has different types of bodies are doing some rad stuff. Yeah, and then as far as books go, um, I've really been just reading books that are part of my book club. But yeah, I just kind of been very blessed, like you said, with my community. And then there's the therapy side that I think has changed too. You can hold so much, and you can be hurting. I've always had this beautiful smile, but no one knew what I was really hurting until you can sit down with someone and just work out the hard things. And it's ugly and it sucks, but the healing process is way beautiful. And I think that's another part that I want to touch on, is that it's okay to get therapy. It's
Were you
okay.
were you in therapy before you quit drinking?
No, I,
Really? Okay. You
yeah,
just strike me as somebody that, like, that had been in your wheelhouse, seemed very comfortable with it, like yeah.
yeah, I think it's because, I love behaviors, and I love, uh, you know, helping those with mental health. But it was wild to know that here I am struggling with my mental health, and I never got the help that I needed until it got really dark. And I'm glad that I sat and spoke to someone. Now I'm dealing with like health insurance and like what can be paid and not. But it's on hold. But I got the resources that I needed to do and become the woman that I am today. It's awesome. And that's where I really like it's more and more that I'm open, and I get these IG messages from people that have known me from school, from high school. It's like, have you done therapy? And then I'll be like, yeah, I have. And just like that open conversation, it's okay to work on your mental health. Or to those single moms that are struggling, just this week, why was there 4 days off of no school, and you're a working mama, and you gotta worry about bills, and you gotta worry about, the care, and to take the time off? It's a lot. And I think this is why I'm open on my social media. I just want other moms to know that you can take a break, and you can focus on yourself, and you're still gonna be an amazing mom. And for the so long, that mom guilt, it was like, "Oh, I'm at the gym, but I shouldn't be at the gym. I have to go and cook dinner." Or, "Oh my gosh, I can't be here because I have to get her hockey gear washed." But, time management, not drinking, it definitely clears everything. It's like, "Oh, I got time."
I, someone said to me once that, therapy is like a massage for your brain, right? You go to a massage therapist and they massage your body, and you go to a mental health therapist and they massage your brain. And I was like, "Oh, I like that," right? It's like a little
Yeah.
spa day for my brain.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now, I get to play outside and have fun.
Yeah.
That's my joy.
So, how do you navigate? You said you still are going out to breweries and stuff. Like, how do you navigate that? Like, do you have like a go-to mocktail, or like what do you drink?
Mm. Well, I'm still love the taste of beer, so hazy IPAs, if I see them, have, um, athletics, have been my jam. But mocktails are I've been, now, like, if I go to a fancy restaurant and I see it on, I'm like, "Ooh, what's that?" Or, um And so, yeah, but if it is going dancing and I need energy, it's been, like I said, Red Bull.
Right.
Um, but yeah, like I think it's just really having the can of socializing and making sure that my hands are occupied because I think has been very helpful. It's like a brain hack. Um, I try to socialize with just a bottle of water. I was like, forget this. I'm gonna need to go check what they have as a non-alcoholic beer. But not only that, I think it goes back to my community. It's like I already have I have amazing friends that we're all part of this book club, and I can show up and they're already like, hey, the non-alcoholic list looks pretty awesome. And it's like that's like I'm like always in awe. Like when I go out, it's like or I'll be in the bathroom and the line is huge and I come back and there's a Coke. It's like so I'm very yeah, my community showed up has been showing up.
April, what vices do you have?
This is really funny that you brought this like up because I guess ADHD characteristics, we become addicted to things really fast. So I was addicted to alcohol, loved all those beers and listing all these beers, but now my new addiction, and no joke, has to be weightlifting and kind of just the whole strength and building. And I've always moved since I was a kid, but and done CrossFit um and back when I was in Alaska. But I think what's changed now is like I am working on this beautiful body. I've accepted it. It's strong as hell, and I just love how I can add weight. And then the best part is when I'm riding my bike, when I'm snowboarding, when I'm surfing, and when I'm like skateboarding, I feel it. It's like my legs are getting stronger. And that is, I just love it. It's like I went, just rode my bike for the first time. I took a big break because that's what I do for work is coach, mountain biking from spring to summer to fall. But when I was climbing that hill and I PR'd and, I'm like, shoot, I am doing this. It's like, I'm not that last one huffing and puffing and if even if I was, I don't care, but like I can just sense the strength. Like and deadlifts have been my new addiction. Yeah.
I
And
love that.
the gym that I go to, it's called Training Grounds. Um, and the other cool piece is I'm plugging in my clients
Mm.
into, I have a roommate that's adult with disabilities, and the fact that I can bring her in and she's loud and like just herself. And the owners of the gym are like, hey, how's it going? Like, and welcoming her. I brought on another client because it was really cold outside and we got to play basketball and they just welcomed. And so it's just a cool, but biking and snowboarding and surfing will always be there.
Oh, you talk about surfing. It is so cold in that ocean right now. I just did a plunge on New Year's and it was so cold, like takes your breath away. Oh.
Yeah, I definitely want to go surfing where it's just my bathing suit and the board. That would be lovely because putting on a wetsuit is tough.
What what would you say to younger you about alcohol?
Oh, I just told Chloe this. So, um, you know, alcohol, you're gonna be curious of what it is. Just know that there's health damages, and, I think what I told Chloe over the weekend is, you're gonna explore your own time of doing that, and just know that, it's gonna hurt your brain, and it does, and it over time, there's multiple health issues, and I told her diabetes and blood and your liver, you're gonna feel sick in your heart, um, and so is it really worth all that? And I think that's where I would really tell myself is that you can still you can have fun without, drinking, and
Yes, yes, you can. What is your favorite thing about being undrunken?
Whoa. I think my favorite thing right now is gaining time. Like I said, I am just so blown away of how much time I wasted just from one restaurant to the next restaurant to, or it could have been like the same happy hour place watching Sunday football all the way up until evening, hanging around, beer after beer. And now that money and saved money and time outside, and working on home projects. That's another thing. Was never home, and now I love my home. I'm like,
I
uh,
hear you on that so big. So
and
big. I would rather be home than just about anywhere most I mean, besides if I'm out playing, but
yes, but like, uh, decorating my house the way I want to, putting my money like where bathtub light candles, like things have definitely been changing, and puzzles, and I'm obsessed with puzzles. So yes, I'm becoming this like cozy home maker kind of deal.
yeah, yeah.
um, and it's been great. Let me tell you, it's like just like last night, I was like drinking my tea, working on my puzzle, and it's like, what else do I need? I do need a partner on call, maybe. That was like cozy and beautiful, and um, yeah, spending my time at home and with my daughter, that's another thing is like our deep conversations that I'm remembering, conversations that not only is my brain clear, it's like I can respond better rather than like,
Yeah.
and I'm not as triggered. Um, she's at an age where a lot has happened during my life, and so yeah, and so just to talk to her, it's been beautiful, and it's been pretty cool, and she sees it, and she tells me all the time she loves it, so
Oh, that's
yeah.
um, so I kind of want to like jump into like how you mentioned changes. So I would love to do what I call quick fire.
Mhm.
On what's the wheel of life. And this is key areas of your life and just how being undrunken has affected each area. A sentence or two. If you go longer, it's totally cool. I
Okay.
love squirrels. I chase them all the time. So you game?
Yeah, I
All
am.
right. So how has being undrunken affected your circle, your friends?
Yeah, um, I think my circle of friends now are the ones that are okay if I don't drink, and the ones that are not present and hanging out with me daily or used to, are still in that era of drinking after every mountain bike ride, um, and doing their thing. And I have no judgment. I understand. And I think that's been a very alert to me. It's like, oh, they're just at a different stage of life. But the people that are in my circle are meant to be, and I talk to them daily, and through voice texts, through Instagram memes, yeah, it's been nice.
How has being undrunken affected your home life, your family?
My relationship with Chloe is beautiful. With my family, I went back home and we had a big, huge gathering. And for them to see the non-alcoholic beer at it's like how many calories does it have? They were like really curious. Um, but my family, they've been supportive. They're not calling me out either, like, here's a shot or, so very, very thankful for them. I think also, as far as being triggered has been less, for sure. It's like I am more happy, and when I see a response that should have been like pissing me off or trigger me, I just laugh now. I'm like, I'm a total different person. I'm gonna respond in a different way. So yeah, I've definitely recognized that.
How about work, your occupation?
Work is where I've seen a lot of change. Um, I am one that is very addicted to my work. I am the founder, it's my baby, it's everything. So when I was drinking, I was on the clock, like every chance I had. I don't know why I thought I would pair those two. Um, and I would work up until 10 p.m., 11 o'clock. "Oh, I'm gonna work on these projects. Sorry, Chloe, I can't do this. Mom has to sit down and work on this email." But now it's like I am putting time, like turning off all my emails after 7 p.m. There are like really short emails that I'll respond really fast, but I think my structure with my work and having a planner and saying, "Hey, this is my to-do list, and if I don't get this to-do list, it's okay. It's gonna move over." And the stress level, I've and the participants, um, no, there's a difference. They see it. They hug me all the time, or parents that are part of participants are hugging me, and they're like, "Way to go on your journey," or because I'm so open.
Yeah.
Um, and it's just been pretty cool. I do, like I said, that is my passion, and I love um, how I didn't ruin it and take it and destroy it. It's like, um, and now I see it, and it's like, oh, now it's on. It's gonna keep on getting bigger, and yeah, I'm excited
It's
for the
kind of
future.
addicting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? Like the clarity. Yeah. How about identity? So just so you know, we've revamped the Wheel of Life. It's an acronym now that
Mhm.
spells out choices because
Oh,
I love that, the quote that's resonated with me most recently is what you're not changing, you're choosing, right? Our
mm,
life is made up of our choices. So
absolutely.
we're on the identity.
I
Yeah, so self.
identity.
Yeah.
Huge, huge part. Not only did I, stop drinking, but I also came out to my family as a bisexual individual. And so I'm part of the LGBTQ community. So I'm the
Nice.
B, and I love it. I think that's another huge factor is being who I'm really truly am. And my
Sorry, that's It's so
And so
beautiful. Like, that's such a huge, huge thing. I mean, you just said it so casually. You came out to your family, like, April, like, that's so beautiful.
yeah, they've known. I and to be married, um, and I had a great marriage. We just got, um, married at a younger age. Like, that's where I tell everyone, and we grew as I don't even recognize who I am when I was like 23 years old. I've grown into this beautiful queen. And so I daily just think about like relationships and what I want. And so yes, when I came out to my family, it's like they knew, but they haven't questioned myself. They've been very welcoming, and that's been nice too. It's been yeah, now you're making me cry thinking about it. And now I've raising a daughter in this queer community. And just recently, she's just said that, like, which auntie, which auntie do you want me to text? Because she has lots of aunties that are going to take care of her and love her for who she is. And yeah, and this is ti the time right now to be surrounded and help this community, and also those that are colored. It's like we're just getting lashed left and right. And so I am very proud of it, and I think my identity, um and not only that, is just to bring that inclusive, to bring more people into the recreation. Outdoor recreation is another passion of mine, of all different communities. And the mountain is for everyone, riding bikes is for everyone. It just goes on. And so, yeah.
Oh, we gotta do a T-shirt. The mountain is for everyone. That is so, oh, that gave me goosebumps. I
Yes, I want to make a shirt for mountain is for everyone. And I thought about it. Curvy girls do it best. So, yes, I'm gonna work on because I think we do. And so, yeah.
Before we move on, I know this is supposed to be quick fire, but I this is so significant and I think so powerful. And when I started the podcast, my hope was if one person, right, hears the
Mhm.
podcast and it affects them, then I could quit happily. Um, but I really think somebody's going to hear this and it's going to help them. Do you think you would have had the courage to come out if you hadn't quit drinking?
Oh, I would have never. Yeah. It was alcohol can definitely cover up all those all the fear, and kind of put you in this state of mind where you're frozen. Um and being a individual with dyslexia and who struggles with your words, I always question myself how I'm going to say this, or how am I going to do this. And quitting drinking has helped my communication so much. And when I told my sister, it came out as like, it is what it is. This is who I am. And I think yeah, that was I think I see it all the time, like daily, that I'm not fearful. I'm like, this is who I am. I have dyslexia. I'm gonna mess up. I'm gonna own it. And that's what's beautiful, is I run a local nonprofit for those with disabilities, and I make errors in grammar, in my communication, And in the past, I would have been so upset, like, and beaten myself down. But now it's like, nope, that's who I am. Yeah, I just sent out a newsletter that the date was supposed to be January, instead of like it was a fundraiser for January 29th. But instead on the newsletter it said July 29th. And so, and since quitting drinking, like I said, I would have been in the past like really upset with myself. Gosh, your stupid dyslexia, this and that. But instead, I was just like, you know what? This queen made a mistake. I am laughing. Um, and so it's brought that also identity part to parents more closer. They're like, wow, you know, to hear my story, I don't have a degree. I don't have a business degree. I've struggled so hard in my school that I have certificates. That's probably the highest of my schooling. But here I am running a super successful nonprofit that the revenue that we brought in for 2024, my mouth drops. I'm like, we're doing it. And so, yeah, I'm really, really thankful that who I am.
You are amazing. You're talking about revenue, and I'm sitting here going, and all those people that you helped.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That yes, I am all about like revenue right now because we're doing our charity renewal.
Oh, it's the same though. You wouldn't have
Yeah,
the
and
money if you hadn't helped the people, right?
but yes, back to the people. I see it daily and I absolutely love how many kids have been outside and there's going to be more. It's happening. And I'm excited. I am excited about 2025 and what it has in store for the AIROW Project and all these youth and new equipment, new projects. Yes.
That's amazing. Um, how has it affected companionship, your love life?
Oh, man. So I am single and ready to mingle. It has actually been really fun. I know exactly what I want. Um, and uh, I I don't know. I feel like another thing it's like my mind, like I feel sexy so since I've like quit drinking, it's been incredible. Um, my yeah, just everything about it. I've been talking to a few people, the sparks there, a few people, but um, and then just the whole like sex side of it. I haven't had sex in a long time, but let me just tell you, I don't, it's like that passion and just thinking about it has like been very hot and heated in my life lately. It's like, wow, what is going on here? When I went dancing, line dancing for the first time, just to get the physical touch, it's like it just feels totally different. Um and your brain is more clearer. Like I can't explain. Um, but I'm excited for that.
All right, so we've got two more
Sweet.
areas of our wheel of life. How has being undrunken affected your estate? Money.
I think one of my 2025 goal it's been 2024 goals was to get out of debt, and I've been working on it, and a lot of people who know me, it's been a huge journey, but with not drinking and it's been incredible. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got play money. I'm paying, the bills. I'm not doing impulsive buying. That's another uh really bad ADHD is characteristic is we'll do impulsive buying, and then like I've done it so many times in my life, and I'm like, I'll figure it out. But now it's like, do I really need this?
Mm.
Um, so we just got back from Whistler. I have a very old board, and I'm hooked. I'm like, snowboarding is awesome. I'm finally getting the hang of it. I have an old board. My bindings just broke on that trip, and we walk into this warehouse. It's a retail warehouse, and I see my board, and I'm like, oh my! And Chloe is like, "Are you gonna get this?" And right there, I was just like, I need it. Canadian money, it's cheaper. Um, I got this. And then I was just like, wait, why? Like, step, work on, keep it on your budget, which is huge. I would have never done that um back in the days. And so that has been really awesome to kind of say, because I can't get it now, doesn't mean I can't get it later. And that's where I keep telling myself, you can get this, just not now. Um, Work hard, mama, and you'll get it. And so that's kind of, and back to the plane, like to take Chloe bowling and ice skating and doing all this stuff, it's like extra money. It's like, yeah, been very amazing. So,
What about spirituality?
whew. Um, I grew up as a Christian, and I am a believer. But one thing that more and more with my identity and is that I don't need the church and the building aspect. Um, the community, man. It's been on that spiritual side. It has been. I have communities that with different religions, and just to have an open heart in my heart, just to sit down and listen and welcome people
Mm.
in my deep conversations. It's just been incredible. I've had a great conversation with my friend who's a Buddhist, um, and just to walk and enjoy these time. It's been spiritually, I feel more at peace, like spiritually and nature wise. My meditation, it's been like I couldn't even meditate. I think it was like probably 30 seconds into it when I was drinking and be like, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that, and then get distracted. But now I can go up to like 10-20 minutes of just staying still outside and admiring what I'm viewing. And it can be raining and cold, and I just need that time. And so yes, that's um yeah, it changed. It's crazy how when you don't drink, how slow time is too. It's like I just feel like I have gained so much time in my life, and yeah. So I think with that spiritual side, I'm steering a lot of conversations with people that I was on missionary trips with. Now that I'm realizing that I'm bi. So I've definitely sparked conversations there. Sparked conversations with, oh, um, not going to church. And so I'll make sure that people know about it. And if you really, really want to hang out with me and know that, just know that religion is the last bit of why I would welcome you. I'm always going to welcome anyone. And that's what's cool is the cool conversations with Muslims, with Buddhists, with like, and I love it. Yeah.
The word that I kept getting was nourished.
Mm-hmm.
Very nourishing.
Yeah.
What's one question you wish I'd asked you?
Oh man, I think you've done pretty well, but there's no but. One question.
Or how about this? What's one thing we haven't covered that you want
Oh,
people to hear?
yeah. I'm back to those dark days, you know, in that day of August 22nd. That wasn't my first time drinking and driving. And I think it's crazy to me to think about how many times, well, once when I was like 22 and I was drinking and driving and I got pulled over by a cop. And I was like drinking and driving and my life was saved, obviously. He didn't know. I passed the test somehow. I don't know how. But that was one incident. And then there was another incident, and back to that night, this was the third time. And I think when Chloe said, Mom, are you okay? It was like, back to that, like, oh shit, this is, if I do it again, I don't even want to know. Like,
And you
and
never will.
I will never, never.
April, thank you so much. I want you to share all the social medias, tell us
Yes.
where to find you, where to find AIROW.
Yeah. Really fast, everyone. My coach April Katz, and that's Katz Katz. I'm on Instagram, the AIROW Project, AIROW AIROW Project, and that's on Instagram, Facebook, AIROW. It just says AIROW, has a page, April Katz. And then if you're in Bellingham, please hit me up. Or if you're at Evergreen Mountain Bike Festival, come and join our barrier breaking rides. I'm always up for any outdoor adventure. So that's me. Yeah, there it is.
I will link to all the things. And April,
Yes.
thank you so much for trusting me to share your story. And I'm so grateful to
Thank
know
you.
you. You're
All
a
right.
lighthouse.
Thanks for joining me today. If you liked this episode, please share it. That's how we grow. And you can tag me on Instagram at @UndrunkenPodcast. If you or someone you know has a story to share, or you're just interested to know more, please reach out. I love that you joined me today, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. As always, I leave you with the wish that you make good choices and take care of yourself. Until next time.